All right, so I'm just kind of letting this soften up my shortening a little bit. I'm going to start adding my other ingredients. I have baking soda, molasses, all right, sometimes you get a little reaction out of this baking soda. Sometimes you don't. Just depends on what order you put your ingredients in. Oh, there we go. We're starting to get our reaction as we stir. All right. This is my 1 tablespoon of molasses. Then I have a teaspoon of nutmeg, a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a teaspoon of allspice. And I have all 3 of those in my one little bowl. I'm going to give them a little bit of a stir. And as you can see, the warm liquid has almost completely melted my shortening down. In addition to that, I need 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I need a teaspoon of vanilla. And the last ingredient is my 2 cups of flour. What I have is I have my baking pan here ready to go. I'm just doing this all in one pan so that I don't have multiple things to wash. Now in this particular case I will be, because I have all my prep bowls and stuff to do, but I don't have to add a mixing bowl to that. I'm just going to mix it right here on the stove with my burner off. And it makes a really thick batter. And I just want to stir that in, make sure that flour gets incorporated really, really well so that I don't have any funky clumps or chunks from it. Again, this is when you want to be able to smell what we are smelling, because the smell of those spices coming off, just absolutely amazing. So I have this nice thick batter. I'm putting this in a baking pan over here. Depending on what size pan you put it in will depend on how thick your bar cookies come out. On this one I'm using a longer one. They're going to come out significantly thinner, but that's okay. It also means they're going to take a little bit less time to cook and we can eat them sooner. All right, so I'm going to pour this over. And then I'm just going to spread this batter around. You can use any kind of dried fruit that you want with this. The key is you want to use a dry fruit that partially rehydrates as you're boiling it, because it'll release flavor into the water. So you can use apples, cranberries, peaches, apricots, Tyler says, all kinds of things. So this is ready to go. This is going to go in a 350-degree oven for somewhere between 18 and 25 minutes. It's going to depend on how small your oven is, how hot it is, if you have a convection oven or a fan going. But we'll pop back to this here in a few minutes. We'll pull it out of the oven and we'll ice it, and we will catch you then. So I'm going to finish up my Poorman cookies with icing. And if you put the icing recipe as included with your Poorman cookies, it's going to come out very similar to a buttercream. So if you know what buttercream icing is, that's kind of the texture you're looking for on that, and you can adjust your powdered sugar and your water based on what you need for that. If you're going for that buttercream, I actually like a white icing glaze. This is very similar to what's used to put on a glazed donut. And what I do is, this is just the powdered sugar or the confectioner's sugar and either some milk or water. No shortening in this one at all. And I'm just going to pour it over the top of my Poorman cookies. And the heat from the bar cookie and from the pan are going to help drizzle that out. You could also do it kind of like a poke cake and poke some holes down in it and let the icing kind of drizzle down in to the cake that way as well. So let me get this spread out here a little bit. I'm going to grab a little spatula. Divide this off. And, whoa, killed the first one. Give me just a second. Here we go. And there's your Poorman cookie, a nice spice cake.